audience will see it in a moment, and we are live.
Our audience, baby. Our audience.
Well, it says you're on the screen. I was just reading what I saw. What's going on, everybody? Here we are, the final day of the regular season, Wednesday, April 10th. There has been a never-ending supply of news from the moment I woke up this morning until 5 minutes ago. Honestly, it feels like it won't stop, including Marcus Smart being out for what may be the only rounds of the playoffs that Boston sees. That is a bad dude to lose.
Yep.
Eddie, on 1 to 10, how excited are you for this slate?
Pretty excited. A solid 9. It's a little bit more random, a little bit less beatable than last night, which went very well for a lot of people. Shout out to the guys in Slack who picked up those fat stacks of cash last night. But 9, probably like 9.5 because it's the last real one we get, and then I have to completely turn the switch into playoff mode, which is just an entirely different beast.
Yeah, very very different game. So let's start here, if you're ready.
Sure.
Live Before Lock is the promo code, 50% off your first month. That's the easy one. You can have any package you choose, including ones with Fantasy Cruncher. All you have to do is enter the promo code Live.
You can have my package or Josh's package or Lofty's package, which I think is a popular one. Or so I've heard.
Mine's certainly not.
You and I are married, so
yeah.
That's how that goes.
So if you want to, take a lap through the teams that matter today.
I would love to.
Who cares about this final game or this final day?
The Nets care. They are going to be either the 6th or the 7th. They don't care a massive amount. So on the list of how much teams care, I think they'd like to win the game. So if they win, they're the 6th. They also are the 6th if they win. If they lose and the Magic and Pistons lose. But I think that's pretty unlikely that the Knicks gussy up for this one. But that in theory, they would still be the 6th. They end up being the 7th if they lose and the Magic and Pistons win, or the Magic and Knicks win, or the Hornets and Pistons win. So, they want to win this game, but I don't think their 2 versus 3 matchup matters significantly to them. But I do think they would rather get the 76ers, who they've played fairly well this year, than the Raptors. So the Nets want to win this game. The Magic give a shit, and Vooch is out, so the other guys will have some additional usage as well as their additional motivation. They are the 6th. If they win, the only way they're the 6th to the 8th. They fall all the way to the 8th seed if they lose and the Pistons and Nets win. Got this all bracketed out in front of me. They are the 7 if they win. And either the Nets or Pistons win, and they are the 6 if they win and the Nets lose and the Pistons win, or if they win and both the Nets and the Pistons lose, or if they win and the Pistons win, and there's various scenarios in which they end in the 7, but long story short, they give a fuck and are playing to win. The Pistons need to win to get into the playoffs. They can make the playoffs also if they win and the Hornets lose, obviously. But they are dealing with ending up in the 7 or the 8, but they are obviously going full bore with a, at best, less than 100% Blake Griffin. The Hornets win and the Pistons lose. They're the 8. Otherwise, they're out. So they give a shit. That's pretty easy. The Rockets, if the Nuggets lose, the Rockets will come in the 2. Again, the Rockets are not appearing on the slate, but just mentioning, fuck, I'll move past them. The Trailblazers, they're not playing. I guess talking about their motivation doesn't do a lot. The Rockets come in 3rd if they win and the Nuggets win. The Blazers fall to the 4th if they lose. And I think they'd rather not be in that bracket, although obviously not first and foremost on their minds resting the guys they're resting. But it's worth pointing out that the Trailblazers, if the Nuggets win and they win tonight, they're the 3 and not the 4. And I presume they'd rather be the 3 than the 4, hypothetically avoiding second round Golden State, which, probably wouldn't go that well anyway, but there we are. The Thunder are the 6th through the 8th. If they win, they're the 6th. If the Spurs lose, they're the 6th. I have 14 extra lines describing all their playoff scenarios, which I'm not going to throw at you. but they want to win because 6 is better than 7 or 8. They can end up. I don't think if they win, they're the 6. Hold on, I'm checking on my matrix here. Yes, if they win, they're the 6. If they lose, they're the 6, 7, or 8, depending on what the Spurs and the Clips and the Nuggets and the Blazers and all that shit does, which I am not going to read this monstrous list in front of me. The Clippers are the 7 if they win, and either the Spurs or Thunder lose. If they lose, they are the 8. Pretty obvious why they don't want to be the 8. So the Clippers are going to play to win these games. This game. The Spurs are also the 6 through 8. They need to win to get up to the 6. If they lose and the Clippers win, they're all the way down to the 8. So the Spurs certainly give a shit. There you go. Those are the highlights of people who give a shit. But it is possible to select a highly competitive team of people who give a shit this evening.
That is very true. Do you want to try to rip through this game by game like we did yesterday?
Really, that was fun. I think that was exceptional. And we had an excellent show, by the way, with the exception of Jamario Jones, who played 46 minutes. So
yeah, who could have seen that coming?
I would have thought, if you just said 46 or 26, which is more likely, I would have said 26. So
yeah, for sure.
Like that didn't go well. I'm re-tinkering rankings for the 5th time today. I promise they will arrive at some point in the next 10 minutes, but I'm attempting to multitask here because this is a bit of a thing.
Yeah, it's it's constant updates.
Yes, and I keep having to rejigger my jigger.
Alrighty, I'm gonna hit it. We'll just start shouting stuff out. First game up on the slate, Hawks and Pacers.
Yeah.
I think in terms of Hawks, it's pretty much just Trae Young and John Collins. I greatly prefer John Collins to Trae Young. On the Indy side, man, this one's rough. Kyle O'Quinn for sure, 3,500 on FanDuel, 4,100 on DraftKings. Actually, I don't even need to say prices. Prices don't matter today, really.
Not well. Believe it or not, it weirdly does, just because again, similar to yesterday, and so much cheap value when you're talking about, on FanDuel, you save $600 on Boban versus other guys. But yeah, on DK, a lot of that excellent big value is all the same price. Boban, Gorgie Jang, Kyle O'Quinn are all $4,100. Interestingly enough.
I would say that Kyle O'Quinn, Tyreek Evans, and as much as you're going to hate this one, TJ Leaf are the functional guys I'd be looking at. Leaf is just in line to play an overwhelming amount of minutes, so he at least needs to be looked at. That doesn't change the fact that he's not very good.
Yeah, I would rank similarly to McDermott. I don't know if they've said it yet, but I expect them to start. I think they announced a starting lineup.
They did. Collison, Tyreek, McDermott, Leaf, Kyle O'Quinn.
Right. So I would rather play TJ Leaf than Doug McDermott. They're similar players, and Leaf's going to play down one more, and that's going to pick up some rebounding upside. And again, in his dumb game earlier this year, which was especially hilarious because you got to watch it as every ball bounced to him, and someone threw the ball into his hands for a block, and someone handed him a steal. And it was just one of those things where I spent half the show talking about how bad he was, and then literally everything broke his way. Projects just fine for me. He's 3,000, 3,400. He's way down towards the bottom, and I have him at 35 minutes. So, normally he is a 0.65 fantasy point per minute basketball player. With all the extra usage and being down lower than he ends up being on average, and an exceptional matchup with the Hawks, I think it's safe to bump that to expecting something like 0.8, and that gives you like 28 fantasy points, which for $3,400 certainly does not suck in any way, shape, or form. So, this comes into an ownership question, which we should periodically reference during the day. I imagine he is some 35, 40% owned or some fairly stupid number. Maybe that's come down a little bit.
I'm dumping our ownership into my sheet right now, and I will give you that updated number imminently.
Right now it says 4%, but we'll wait on an update. But if he's 10, 15% on, I'm fine with him. I don't think the upside is again amazing. He's going to take up a forward spot where again you have Jang and O'Quinn and some other guys who look nice. I like them more as value. I like Quinn Cook more as value. I like probably about 16 other guys more as value. But I'm not going to get on anyone for playing TJ Leaf here. When I talk about all those other guys, they all have a much, much greater chance in my mind of giving you 50 as a real possibility in their games. For TJ Leaf, that requires an extraordinary confluence of events. And again, you have Kyle O'Quinn standing next to him, who does not mind taking a shot, and you still have Kojo in there and Collison. So, willing to look elsewhere.
Paul George out. We just got an updated ownership, which I assume is now mildly unhelpful, but it literally just got posted.
Do it again, Tom. Thanks.
Yep, Tom just sent me the message like, hey, I know you just pasted it. Ownership's updated. Immediately.
Well, do it again. Paul George is out. TJ Leaf now up to 13%. I suspect that actually in the better range with all the value. My 35-40% hyperbole, pretty interesting. I would probably rather. I'm looking at all the other value to talk about here. Like it's close for me. TJ Leaf versus George Niang. Most of these guys I would generally rather look at here. Just looking at the high ranked value we have here. We have Gorgie Jang at 50%. I like Gorgie Jang a lot. The matchup not necessarily super wonderful for him. I'd have less than 50%. Again, maybe that goes like Mario Jones yesterday and he throws up 61 and that's going to work badly for you. But in the long run, when there's 14 good pieces of value with upside, jumping on the most popular one, I think in tournaments is going to turn out to be the wrong play for you because a lot of these guys profile pretty similar. Like we have, again, Jang at the same price as Boban and Kyle O'Quinn. I don't have them projected that noticeably different that I would want to play the one who's 50% owned as opposed to the other two who are 30 and 20. Quinn Cook, 3,800, sure. TJ McConnell, 3,400, sure. Ekpe Udo, 3,300. 27% good on people for getting on that one because he looks pretty good. That team is interesting. I'll stop there and we can move on. But yeah, TJ Leaf makes plenty of sense. I legitimately like Kyle O'Quinn. With the news that Sabonis is to be deployed only in the event of emergency, I think you very possibly get 30. And 30 minutes of Kyle O'Quinn against the Hawks and Alex Len is a nice fantasy number. I'd have him projected loosely for the 40-ish range. That feels pretty good. So Cock being the priority for me, as it is most nights. Past that, I try. I think Tyreek has the upside. Again, I am reluctant to go there as heavily as I suspect other people will, simply because we have largely correlated his ability to spike that upside with his ability to put his hands on the damn ball. And if both Kojo and Darren Collison are playing, which I believe they are as of last update, that's taking that out of his hands, and he's not that cheap anymore. So disinclined depending on how owned he's going to be. If you want to run Tyreek Evans out there in a tournament, right now we have him at 9%. That's fine. He's playing the Hawks. Sure, he could go apeshit at that 9%. He is sort of playing for something. You're going to see this weird thing tonight where a lot of teams let guys who are going to be free agents go out there and play for a contract, which is nice, and they should, especially guys like Tyreek who used to be an alpha and is now a beta, and they're like, hey, we got nothing to play for. Go out there and put up some damage. So I have no issue if you want to run Tyreek. I just have concerns, and again, there's 38 pieces of value, 15 of which I really have no concerns with, that George Niang and Ekpe Udo and Grayson Allen, and just you can go through this whole slate, and there's just tons of guys who I'm pretty sure are going to get their opportunities. I'm not shocked if Tyreek Evans plays 28 minutes and only gets 7 shots off because he just doesn't touch the ball enough because the guards are in. So,
okay, let's hit Brooklyn and Miami. This one I think is pretty easy. D'Angelo Russell's getting a little love, and I get it. It's a raw points game. He's not like my favorite guy in the world. It's really never appealing to go up against Miami. I find this game wholly unappealing. Am I missing anything?
No, you're in my opinion, I should always say, largely right. You can play Dwayne Wade. I don't believe they've announced yet whether or not he will start. We're going to be getting buckets of news as this day goes on. It is his last game.
They did mention he might be limited with some knee issues.
Oh, okay. Then fuck it. Forget it. He's no longer cheap on DK. On FanDuel, there's plenty of good value at shooting guard. If they said he was limited. Which
apparently he would not play if this were not the last game he'll ever play.
Oh, okay. Then absolutely forget it. Yeah, again, you're in a situation where they have nothing to play for, so you really can't guess at their rotation. So, if you want to play Goran Dragic in your tournament lineup at $7,000 in one lineup, I think that's absolutely insane. But he'll be 1% owned against the Nets. Yeah. So, Bam Adebayo is only $6,000 on DK. Center versus Brooklyn, that has worked out. So, if you had that, I think it could work out at his 3% ownership, but certainly nothing to remotely prioritize. If someone has a specific question, bring it up in comments. But no, I'm about with you. And same thing with D'Angelo. 8,800 on FanDuel is relatively cheap for the kind of upside he brings. Joe Harris is out, somewhat relevant for kicking around a little extra usage, but yeah, there's nothing appealing in this game.
We have him at 24% on FanDuel. That just feels crazy high. Like, I agree. If he can go for 50, he'll be a really good piece if he does. Raw points are going to rule the roost today, but I don't think he does it that often.
Well, part of it is just shooting guard on FanDuel. Like, I would rather play DeMar DeRozan at 8,100 than D-Russ at 88, and I imagine he engenders some pretty serious ownership. But shooting guard on FanDuel is Donovan Mitchell not playing. Luka Doncic, I don't think plays. We'll see. Delon Wright at 8,900, Russell, DeMar at 81, who I do like a little bit more, Wiggins, who I expect to be limited a little bit more, Hield, who I think I can safely give a question mark. It's not surprising to me if they run out, just those minutes come down a little. Lou Williams, where there's some uncertainty, but I like him a lot at that price. Walt Lemon, I don't want to pay that. Middleton's going to play limited. Jeremy Lamb at 6,400, the Magic guy. So, like, shooting guard is kind of fugly. So it's sort of a spot where if you're not throwing the punts at it, a la Grayson Allen, etc., I kind of get it. But yes, I would come in under that number as well.
Okay. Hornets and Magic. On the Hornets side, my key piece would obviously be Kemba Walker, as is the key piece for everybody else, 30% ownership on both sites. On the Orlando side, Aaron Gordon looks solid to me, but I'm usually heavier on Aaron Gordon than I am anybody else. But now with Vooch out, I think that changes it. And then FanDuel, I think Kem Birch is a nice value now.
Yeah, FanDuel especially.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Where Aaron Gordon is $7,000. Sorry to interrupt there, but power forward on FanDuel is a very covetous position. There's a lot of goodness going on there, especially as you get into the cheaper guys. But I like Aaron Gordon quite a bit here. The other guys are priced up significantly, but again, this is a team who we expect to play to win. In the absence of Vooch, I cannot overstate the usage implications of that. There's a lot of shots to go around, and Kem Birch is going to take maybe 30% of them himself. So you are looking at more usage for everyone else in this lineup. So I don't mind tournament exposure against Charlotte, which I consider a particularly advantageous spot, to even Fournier at 6,400, which sounds filthy. I have a share or two, and Augustine at $6,000. Sounds dumb, but again, we saw good games recently in much tougher matchups than this one. There is a ceiling for these guys, and Kem Birch himself at 3,500. I think even points per dollar I have ranked under that trifecta of 4,100 guys of Boban, Yang, O'Quinn, etc. But certainly, no issue if you want to end up on Kem Birch. Minimum on FanDuel, but again, so it's Boban, and I have him projected a little higher. I have Boban at 21 minutes. That number could turn into 14, and it's going to absolutely turn the other way. It's really a question as to how much time you think Boban gets when you're looking at things like this. But against the Bulls, which doesn't strike me as a matchup where he gets forced off the court that often.
No,
and it's like it sucks. There's obviously always just a massive amount of uncertainty with Boban, but probably completely out of the playoff rotation or very limited stretches.
Luka out.
Yeah, those changes nothing for me. That's fully what I expected the whole day. If you look at Luka's games, he played one, sat two, played one, sat one, played one, sat two, and I assumed last night was Dirk's going out. I want to be on the court for that shit.
That's kind of what I thought about for today. I had him in. Not that I was super confident in it or anything, sure, but I thought that he might want to play in Dirk's last game.
Sure, I think it was he wanted to do it at home, and on a back-to-back, I was pretty sure he wouldn't suit up. I'd have given him pretty decent odds against, but so no Luka. That opens up some dudes. So
we will touch on Dallas shortly. I am pushing out the Luka update right now. This is it never stops. Yeah, we're going to try to put out an ownership update at 7:30, trying to let a little bit more news accumulate. They don't just run. It's not just an automatic here's the number. So as soon as you start, you want to try to be firm about it. So we are working to put out an ownership update around 7:30. Are we good on Hornets Magic?
There are, you can...
Miles Bridges is getting 16% ownership on FanDuel. That's the only number that we haven't talked about that I think I should point out. Miles Bridges.
Yeah, I can live without that.
Yeah, me too.
It's. I mean, it's obviously not insanity, but again, I'm pushing for more guys with upside, more guys who are low owned. I don't think I would end up there with it. I mean, did he get dropped? I'll just look real quick
He's
because I have.
5,300.
Yeah, no, I know.
Agreed.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I
Nets
like
starting lineup: Russell, Levert, Graham, Kurucs, Allen.
Okay, so yeah, they're gonna play to win. They're gonna run a roughly normal rotation. I'm not gonna have a lot of appeal for anyone there.
Same.
I don't think I would get to Jared Allen on a slate like today.
No.
On FanDuel, to go back to talking about Miles Bridges,
Yeah.
I would rather play Rodney Hood for whatever $1,200 less approximately, who's gonna start for Portland against Sacramento and take a pile of shots. I would rather there's gonna be a lot of value to be had there. There's just other guys I look at who can spike one massive ass number. Miles Bridges, and what, by the way, is a pretty shit matchup.
Yeah.
I'm not getting there.
Okay. Memphis Grizzlies, Golden State Warriors. Grizzlies look pretty similar to what they've looked like over the past couple weeks, save for Chandler Parsons being out. So
yep.
I think Tyler Dorsey is viable at 5K or 4,700. If you want to play DeLon Wright, go for it. I know people are not super happy about it from last night. I didn't find it very appealing yesterday. I still don't today.
Yep. No, we had there.
I'm really indifferent on the rest of those guys. As for Golden State, Quinn Cook is pretty clearly the best piece. Durant and Clay and Andre Iguodala are going to be limited to around 20 minutes. So the only guy I want from Golden State is Quinn Cook.
I'd go slightly broader than that, but Quinn Cook, obviously the cherry piece there. There's some concern with yesterday where they did, limit his time and throw more minutes at Damian Lee, and even with the way that game went, didn't get, as much time as you would like to see in their last game. So I'm not sure he plays 32 minutes. Steve Kerr is one of the most even-handed, you get a car, you get a car, you get a car, everybody gets a participation trophy coaches in the league. So I have him at 30. I don't think it's shocking if he has a game and plays 34. I don't think it's shocking if he plays 25, 26 minutes, but he's obviously going to do a lot, and in this situation has a ton of upside. So I like Quinn Cook a ton. I think you're going to see. I think Bogut is technically in. Is that correct? I've been going back.
As far as I know, yeah, I don't remember seeing anything of the contrary. So
that limits my interest in Jordan Bell at minimal price, who I'd have interest in tournaments, and Kevon Looney. In a good spot who I'd have interest in tournaments, and some of these other guys. I don't think, if he was minimum Alfonso McKinney, although I think he's priced up a bit now. Excuse me, bit of a sore throat. But yeah, I would just say I have some lingering interest in minimum price guys like Jordan Bell, etc., who it's, again, not going to see the court in the playoffs, and someone who's been there for a while and obviously has some stuff going on with his relationship with that team. Maybe they throw him out there for some, but yeah, minimal exposure to other guys, and Quinn Cook, the jewel of the crown there.
Okie doke. We are heading to Milwaukee, OKC. On the Milwaukee side, Bledsoe, Middleton both in. They are starting along with Brown, Wilson, and Ersan Ilyasova. I don't get the sense that Bledsoe and Middleton are going to play all that many minutes. Probably a lot more in the first half than the second half. I don't see either guy as particularly viable. DJ Wilson looks pretty good, 4K and 4,100 on FanDuel and DraftKings respectively. But otherwise, I don't see them as super interesting. OKC is the Russell Westbrook show now. Paul George is out.
Yep, and they want the game. Yeah. So now, Westbrook, like on FanDuel, it was a long day of me looking at, because I didn't think Paul George played, although I was concerned, but with the news coming out. So like all day I've been looking at Kemba, Westbrook, and Quinn Cook as the three guys. Like, got to play two of these. I think it goes to Westbrook now. It's just, I don't know about 2020, but it's in sight. So, yeah. I'm trying to think what else specifically to look at as the takeaways in this situation. 1 second, I want to rerun a rotation projection I was digging with there. Sell something.
Yeah, I'll sell us. Again, Live Before Lock is the promo code, 50% off your first month with us. We're going to have a ton of baseball content being the focus, but NBA is not going anywhere. We will still have projections, rankings. That handsome man to my straight ahead, because we're not in the same room. If you're looking at the screen, though, to my right, I don't know how to say that. Either way, he's still around for the NBA playoffs. Baseball's everywhere. Masters starts tomorrow. We've got a PGA Live Before Lock tonight, 9 p.m. Ben Rasa, Jason Roslin, talking Masters for tomorrow. We'll have Masters content Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You can't get enough of it. MMA, big UFC card this Saturday. We're all over it. NASCAR, I don't know what race it is, but I'm sure it's important.
They're cars. They drive fast in a circle. There's a lot of turning left, I hear. So for Milwaukee, okay, DJ Wilson, I have slightly under the Django Quinn, Marjanovic tier of $4,100 guys. I think he's also 4,100 on DK. Jesus, they're really spiking the shit out of that number.
Ooh, NHL playoff content as well. Don't want to let that go. Thanks, Emac.
There you go, Emac. Way to get in there. So all four of those guys at $4,100, you can play them all because 2 or 3 of them are forward eligible. Quinn is, Jang is, Wilson is. So actually 3 of them are forward eligible. So you can simply could play all those guys. They all look great. On FanDuel, I would rather play the minimum for Ursan, especially at expected ownership, than play DJ Wilson. Both those guys look great. Brolo out as well. So that front court time will be there through and throughout. In the backcourt, a little more interesting with Bledsoe and Middleton playing there 20 minutes. Don't really want to play them. Potential blowout coming the other way. Those can be really interesting to see how this game plays out. I'm actually pretty interested to watch how this game goes. As far as Oklahoma City goes, yeah, Westbrook. You can certainly Jeremy Grant. You can certainly Steven Adams in a tournament, believe it or not, in an undersized front court that he's going to be going against where he could actually have that weird Steven Adams game. I'd have a couple shares if I'm MMEing.
Yeah.
Not a ton past that for me. I think Schroeder bears some consideration.
God, he's been so bad.
Yep. But just there is, the matchup will be better than it looks on paper. And I do think, something silly out of him could happen. FanDuel, obviously a much better play where you got to play the 2 shooting guards. And as we alluded to previously, I'd look at $8,800 D-Russ and $5,400 Schroeder for a while. But again, you're spiking raw points a lot there. So definitely a lot to be considered in that situation. But not a ton else in this game. What you got? Yeah,
it's really just not that interesting. It's Russ is on a completely different level than every other piece of this game.
Yep. Yeah, he's. I think you have to do it now. Kind of wanted to go elsewhere, but
he's gonna be so damn popular.
Yeah, not as much as you'd think. You're gonna laugh, but that is one. By the way, get ready for the best game of Daddy like ever. 8 games at lock.
Yeah,
I believe it is.
That is not optimal for me, but we have to go through it.
Yeah. Do I think DDR and LMA get full run with Luka out? All right, let me think. We
got an ownership update, so you do that. I'm going to grab that.
Okay. The Spurs did not play yesterday, and no one plays till Sunday. So if the game is remotely close, yes, they get full run. But full run for anyone on the Spurs is always a different animal than it is for other people. Like, they are constantly trying to limit shit. So I believe it will be treated like a completely and totally, actually a little more intense than a normal game for this team. So I'm fine with LaMarcus Aldridge and DeMar DeRozan. Feel free to run them out there anywhere you want to. But, compared to other guys, I mean, they're a very reasonable spend-ups in an exceptional matchup. So I'm fine with that. I will just throw in some rankings in a minute then while you talk about ownership because, I keep updating them and I better publish something.
No, you're good. Gorgeous Dong is the chalk on DK, 50%. Russ is the chalk on FanDuel, 48%. Russ coming in second on DK at 40. Knicks and Pistons. So Mario Hezonja is starting at point.
I also shout out for the 3 people yesterday who said I was sleeping on Salah Mejri, and I said I'm really not sure he plays.
Yeah, did not play.
Did not touch the court. So it came up twice on the show and like 3 more times in questions. I'm like, what about your guy Salah Mejri? I'm like, I don't know if he plays tonight. When I think Dirk's going to play 30, and he played like 30.
I do think he's playing tonight, though. That's for sure.
Yes, I do think he's playing. I bring it up for that reason. He's not entirely out of play tonight, although, again, infinite great front court value. So just guys I project for more. But 150 lineups, I'd have a Salah Mejri or 2 because he's my guy, and he can do, a little bit of everything. When he starts taking threes, like, oh my God, we've seen the best guys taking 3-pointers. Like Udonis Haslem was taking threes the other day. God,
that's some Madsen stuff right there.
Yeah, my spirit sword. That's all I'm going to say.
Mitchell Robinson looking great for the Knicks again, but there's just an overwhelming amount of center value. He's not picking up much ownership. I think Luke Cornett is viable, but we probably have Dennis Smith. Mario Hezonja is starting. Kadeem Allen is back. So
Yeah,
I don't really find the Knicks as that viable.
Starting where is the thing?
Apparently the point guard, but
what?
I can't totally confirm that.
Right. Yeah, someone's asking Colson, not for me. I get it, but this is not, 46 minutes against the Hawks, Bonzi Colson.
Not that we know of, at least.
Right. Yeah. I mean, again, I thought Mario Jones wasn't going to play 46 minutes yesterday, so who knows? Maybe Bonzi Colson, but I don't expect him to start, and
he's not starting.
Right. And so for that reason, we're already dealing with a pretty significant minutes limit. He's not unplayable because the upside is there. Maybe he takes the odds. The matchup isn't dreadful. Sure, knock yourself out. But I don't think I ranked him. Meaning, I don't think I'd have any in 150. I did rank him. He got double Ds. So
there you go.
That is my opinion of him. He is barely playable in tournaments. Is how I would describe him. And again, it's not because he's so terrible. It's just because there's so many other guys who cost a little or not much more who carry a massive upside. So.
Yeah, Robinson and Cornett are the only two Knicks that I would really be looking at since Allen is back and DSJ is, by all accounts, available. On the Pistons side, this one's really easy. It's Andre Drummond.
Yep.
With a giant period exclamation point. You could add more punctuation if you'd like, but Andre Drummond looks pretty good in this one.
Yep, he's the reason that I don't, in my current lineup, have all four of the $4,100 whatever of death, because one of those spots has to go to Dre.
There you go.
They forgot about Dre, and he's gonna, he looks brilliant. I have him projected for 59, which is my highest individual projection of the year for him.
I have him at 60.1.
Yeah, there you go. So they could beat the Knicks so thoroughly he sits the fourth. That is a real concern.
I have him projected for 24 and 18.5.
I have him at 23 and 19. So we're in the same wheelhouse. Yeah, so that looks great. He's a great spend up. I like him more than Kemba. I like him. I'm going to have to sit here at prices and think about him and Westbrook for a while. But yeah, I like those big, strong, beefy. Yeah, muscly arms. So yeah. For the Knicks, I would say I don't think Mario's out of play. If he starts at point guard, so if we get a starting lineup, Mario's in it, Dennis Smith isn't in it. I can see it, but again, the matchup is terrible. The DK price is a little more appealing, but I don't mind a little bit there. Sure. I don't mind a little bit of Damian Dotson at his price. That's probably about as far as I'm going. I really like Cornett, sorry, should be stated, and I think Mitch is fine. The price has gotten up a little bit, and there's just, again, brilliant, cheap guys at 4,000. So I like Mitch a lot. Mitch at 8, you're now talking about something a little bit different.
To the Sixers we go. Sixers are without everyone of value in the entire starting lineup. Yep. TJ McConnell, 3,500 on FanDuel, 3,400 on DraftKings. Looking pretty damn good. Boban, minimum salary on FanDuel, 4,100 on DraftKings. Viable, but who knows how many minutes he plays? Who knows how many minutes Greg Monroe plays? Who knows how many minutes Amir Johnson plays? I have them all playing just comparable stuff. I think Zaire Smith is oddly potentially okay at 3,500 on DK, but the two guys I want the most, TJ and the Boban. On Chicago, I still need to take Jakar Sampson out of the lineup. Didn't realize that I didn't do that earlier. He is no longer on the team, so he's not that useful today.
Yep. You've basically got it there. I'm a little worried about, anyone from this Bull squad. The guys who we expect to do anything have been priced up. Having Sampson out obviously is going to open up some time. So, yeah. But I don't want to spend $7,000 on Walt Lemon. I'm not super excited on this slate about spending $6,000 on Shaq Harrison. A lot of the other guys are just going to share minutes. They've really flattened out the curve as far as their minutes distribution. So not a ton of interest for me here for the Bulls. Looking across the ball for the 76ers. Yeah, McConnell, I think, is a very nice sort of Quinn Cook pivot. Like I'm a lot on FanDuel, where he is actually the minimum of minimums, and he gets 3 for steals, which is something he can really do and really do against the Bulls. You can certainly Mike Scott. I like Boban a lot. I'm inclined towards the upside, and at the ownership, I'm willing to take the shot in the matchup because, again, seeing 40 in his 20 minutes really is not impossible to me. No one there is going to guard him particularly that well. beyond that, you can have bits of this, that, and the other thing. But I do think those are by far the best plays on this team on a slate where we can afford to be a little bit more picky.
Yeah. Alrighty. Heading to the final 8 o'clock game, San Antonio Spurs, Dallas Mavericks. We've touched on it a little bit. DeRozan and Aldridge are the only two guys that could potentially jump out for you here because they have the ability to go for 50 or 60 on the right day. Not entirely sure I see that coming, but those are the guys that can do it. On the Dallas side, it's a complete zero for me.
The Dallas side, I have some guys ranked with D's and C's. When you take, the matchup is just so bad. So as much as you want to like Jalen Brunson and Trey Burke in the backcourt, the prices are at $5,000, and again, we just have guys who we can project better or cheaper. So running an algorithm, you're not going to get a lot of those guys, but conceivably, especially for Burke, I do think really big game is there again when you get Luke out of there. But the matchup is really bad. Dirk is in there doing something. I don't think Dirk plays a ton tonight. I think he falls back to 20, 25 minutes. I think he and Wade do end up being, overowned, although the Wade news will truncate that a little bit. But, I'm with you as far as that goes. And for the Spurs, it's Aldridge, it's DeRozan. Derek White's still 5,200 on DK in a brilliant matchup. No reason to go there tonight, but I'm not shocked to see the good game out of him there. I don't think we have Pirtle or Gay starting news yet, but that is the... those are the pieces who, when they are starting, sort of gain a little bit of appeal. But again, when you look at a guy like Jakob Poeltl, sure, that looks great, but
he's like the 25th best center.
Right. There's just centers and value and all sorts of stuff. Thon McCurr starting as expected. Yeah. I'd still have him behind all those other $4,100 guys I've been discussing.
Yep. Bulls starting lineup: Archie, Harrison, TLC, Selden, Lopez.
Yep, that's what I expected.
It's not going to matter. They don't have enough bodies.
No change of analysis there. Like Lopez is back down into the 4.5. Maybe he's 30 minutes here again. Archie starting again. I guess like there are guys I can see if you had in 2 of your 150 lineups, but nothing that would be a priority for me.
Okay. Per Bobby Marks, you want to keep an eye on Paul Millsap's rebounding tonight. He gets $150,000 if his rebounds per 36 minutes is north of 7.
Yeah, and he's at 6.91 or something like that.
Which is funny.
And $5,500, I believe, the tag on him. So he remained ranked.
We are on that game right now. Denver Nuggets, Minnesota Timberwolves. Everybody in for the Nuggets. I don't get the sense that they are going to be playing crazy minutes for everybody. And the fact that they are one of, if not the deepest team in the NBA, means they are really difficult to peg. I would love to recommend high amounts of Jokic, but it's a really difficult thing to do. I can't really advocate for much from Denver unless you feel like Jamal Murray. I think Jamal Murray is the only really viable GPP play. Wouldn't mind to get to Jokic if I'm playing 150, but Murray's the one that I think can return something on that salary. As for Minnesota, it's the gorgeous Dong.
Yep. No, you have it, and that's really, believe it or not, more or less it for him. Like he's got the most locked in minutes. His usage, without Towns, which obviously spends most of his time on the court without Towns. But in this situation, his projected fantasy points per minute for me are somewhere like 1.3. It's not the best matchup, but I love the Dong almost as much as I love the Cock tonight. Sorry, it's like that joke is coming for me and I just can't get out of the way. For the Denver, I would say Murray, then I don't mind playing Jokic whatsoever, but obviously you're taking a risk with minutes and everything. But again, they want this game. And Millsap, I left him play. I think I'm fine with Millsap. Past that, I'm probably good again with everybody healthy and just, again, so many superlative values around the slate.
Perfect. 2 games to go, and then we can start to get into some questions. Clippers and Jazz, 115 implied total for the Clippers, 107 for the Jazz. The reason that's so big is because the Jazz are sitting out a full team today. Everybody of value is out except for apparently Joe Ingles. I've not seen any news on Ingles being out yet.
Crowder?
I'm pretty sure Crowder's out.
They're sitting all 3 point guards. They're sitting all 3 starting ones, or all 3 guys who play the one with any degree of intrepidity. Donovan, Favors.
Oh, Crowder probable. Okay. Yeah.
I think Crowder also maintaining some value as a piece. So like Ekpe Udo is the nutty piece here at 3,300. He looks very good.
Yeah.
Probably points per dollar, gets projected better than several of those $4,100 guys. So no issue if Ekpe Udo turns into a spot here for you. Don't mind Georges Niang at all. Although again, depending what we see out of just monitor news if you're playing on DK. Keep an eye on Ingles and Crowder. They would both limit him a little bit. Grayson Allen, an interesting punt on FanDuel, is going to have to do a lot on offense, and I don't know who's going to handle the damn ball. It's going to be some combination of. I think that may be why Ingles is playing.
Royce O'Neal, my man.
Yeah, that Royce will get the time, and obviously more usage than he usually does.
Yeah.
But Grayson Allen, Royce, Naz Mitru Long,
yeah,
those three guys are going to handle the ball. But I think that's why Ingles is in, because they don't want the offense to just completely be worthless, and that's sort of the situation with no Neto, no Exum, no Rubio. Someone's got to handle the damn ball. So it wouldn't surprise me if for that reason they play Ingles 20 minutes. I don't think you're seeing 36 minutes of Joe Ingles, and he ain't cheap anymore, so no interest in that whatsoever. But the value here looks pretty good in what's a pretty strong matchup.
Royce O'Neal and Ekpe Udo are the only guys that really stand out for me. Grayson Allen on DraftKings a little bit more than FanDuel, but oh, God, I just hate Grayson Allen. And I say that as a guy with a Duke shirt on right now. On the Clippers side, I don't really recommend anybody.
Try not to trip anybody on your way through. I don't recommend anybody. I don't have trouble with tournament exposure to Gallinari or Lou Williams or Montrezl Harrell, all of whom have a ceiling, are playing against a G League team, and the team doesn't want to be the 8th seed. I repeat again. So can't recommend them as far as like points per dollar plays, but especially Lou, I can certainly see getting there, trying to sew up his 6th man of the year for the 3rd time, I think, candidacy. So I still have an A in tournaments for Lou Williams. I like what can happen there.
I like him a lot more on FanDuel than I do on DraftKings. But
67 on FanDuel is pretty.
Yeah. He clearly has the ability that he can drop 50 in 28 minutes because he just doesn't stop shooting. That is a real. If you're paying for guys on this slate that are at their normal price tags, the ones you want are the guys that control the ball.
Yep. Most frequently.
Final game, Portland and Sacramento. This one blew my mind. Never expected Lillard to sit in this one. CJ doesn't shock me, but did not expect Lillard to sit here.
So weird.
So for Portland, I think Cantor is mildly in play. The problem is there's just 2 million centers. Seth Curry looks damn tasty. 4K on FanDuel, 4,300 on DraftKings. You can talk me into Rodney Hood. You can talk me into some Evan Turner because they're just going to have a lot of guys handling the ball. I wouldn't want a lot of volume coming out of Portland, but I think they have viable options. As for Sacramento, I could care less.
Yeah, Sacramento, difficult to grade the matchup fully, but not shocked if the minutes go and they're like, let's give some extra time to Yogi Ferrell, et cetera, than the 8 through 12 guys on that team. So there's just better places to go.
Yeah.
I have trouble getting to anyone from Sacramento. I'm with you there. And yeah, Hood and Seth Curry, the guys on the Trailblazers, have a pretty good amount of interest in, especially on FanDuel where you get them at cheap prices, non-ideal positions.
I think we just took a lap through 11 games.
All right, you take a look at things. I'm going to re-push updates because someone said they couldn't see them, so I'm going to try this again.
Yeah, I'm checking it out. Yeah, they are not hitting the site at all.
I mean, okay, re-polling. Give me a minute.
Yeah. Yeah, last update a day ago.
Yeah, well, that's not good.
Hornets will start Walker, Bacon, Batum, Bridges, Biyombo. That's a lot of Bs.
As expected. Yeah, that's nice. That's fun. I like a good theme team.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Start getting your questions in. First question up. FanDuel GPP, Curry or TJ? That's a tough one to answer.
FanDuel GPP?
Yeah.
I really don't know. I'll probably, for the ownership, play TJ McConnell.
Yeah, I think it's not even really that close. I will definitely go to TJ there.
Okay, Curry gets a lot of usage a lot of time. There's a real ceiling for Curry in a decent matchup. But yeah, it's TJ McConnell for me, but not by nearly so much as you're intimating.
$500 more expensive, which doesn't really matter all that much to me. But there's just too many other good dudes on Portland that can stop him from being involved, whereas I think TJ McConnell almost has to play north of 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, they can go to Anthony Simons and Gary Trent for like way more minutes and play Curry for way less than we expect. They're not playing Dame and CJ. They obviously don't care too much about the outcome.
I'm fine with that, but I mean, you could argue the same thing with Shake Milton and TJ and blah blah blah.
I still have all of those guys getting the minutes too. I wouldn't know where they would go, but yeah, I don't want it to sound as big of a gap as it is, but I do have them separated by more than a little.
Okay, it's interesting for Philly. I'm like in that last game, we saw Greg Monroe even spend some time at the 4, and he's like their 5th center.
Yeah.
So I kind of worry what goes on with Greg Monroe as far as front court minutes. You know, like people keep asking me about Mike Scott. Like I have him at a CB right now. I'm fine with it, but I really don't know what the hell they're going to do down there. And when I saw Monroe out there next to Bolden, I think it was, it's like, okay, now I'm really worried about what the hell is going to happen in this last game.
Alrighty. Gorgeous Dong and Ekpe Udo or Boban and Birch in a DK GPP.
God, I love life. I'll go with the first two. I'll go with the Udo side. But
yeah, same. There's way less to worry about in Deng Udo than there is in Boban Birch. Gordon or Aldridge on FanDuel?
I'm a little more inclined towards Gordon.
Same. Any interest in Jonathan Simmons in a FanDuel GPP?
Sure. FanDuel GPP, you got me, but you needed FanDuel and GPP for me to have any interest. I suspect in a single lineup I could do better with a number of guys, but he's just not super ceiling guy. I don't think he's not getting the start for the 76ers. I'm 99% sure if I read that right. So, disinclined, but I think it's doable, but very little interest.
Okay.
You?
I can't imagine wanting to have him.
It's just you need upside. Like, you're gonna get the ownership. Congrats, but yeah, it's dicey there.
Yeah, like he's my. I don't know. The Sixers have. I have 8 guys on the Sixers projected, and they're all at minimum salary. The most expensive guy on Philadelphia today is Mike Scott at $4,400. So.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just a bit of a mess there.
Yeah. What else we got here? I don't know how to tell you how a projection at a competitor's website is different than ours.
I'm curious, what's the specific query?
Why is Shabazz Napier's projection on insert other DFS site here, whatever it is? How the hell would we know?
I don't know. They even re-signed Theo Pinson, so like if somehow he wasn't with the team for this game, then I think you have some chance of getting 18 minutes out of Shabazz Napier, but I have no idea. They may be reading what happens with Joe Harris out differently, but I have no reason to think that you see any appreciable amount
Nope.
Of Shabazz Napier here. He's been expurgated from a meaningful part of the rotation for several months.
Yep.
So,
which is kind of weird because I think he's good.
Yeah, I think it's a fair question. I mean, don't get me wrong, they shouldn't say, why does this site have this? But a question like, this site has this guy projected for, I have no idea what it is, 27 minutes and 25 fantasy points. What do you think about that? Is a fair question because, it's not like we could never miss something. But yes, I have absolutely no reason in that specific case to justify that sort of.
Yeah, I would just want to ask the people that did it,
Yeah, no, sure. I guess I'm just saying since they're here, I get them sort of asking us, okay, that's my last try. Ranking should be in yet again. And if that doesn't work, we're like 8 minutes from lock. So
any interest in Ross tonight?
Yes. If I'm going at Magic guys, he's probably number 2 for me. He's number 3. Sorry. He's going to be behind Birch and Gordon. But yeah, game they want to win. No Vooch. Again, no Vooch, really good matchup. You can get that. I don't love him. Don't think he gets into a single lineup, but I would not look at someone having some exposure to Terrence Ross and think that they'd committed a felony. Like I think that's a perfectly reasonable guy to take out in a tournament, and I would prefer him over Augustine Fournier Isaac. So yeah, I'm fine with it.
Dwayne Wade's starting.
Yep. Okay. That's confusing. Still on DK. I'm just not going to get there. We will see. What's our most recent?
Oh my God! Hold on. Dragic, Wade, Winslow, Olynyk, Haslam.
Oh, yeah, they're doing the same thing as last night. Same thing with Devin Harris got the start for Dallas. Both teams not only honored the guys leaving, but honored their other veterans, which, as an old man, I kind of dig. I was a fan of that. But Haslam getting the start, I don't even. Oh, what the fuck? Like, all right, they still have to play a competitive basketball game.
Can't imagine Whiteside gets all that many minutes now, so let me cut his a little bit.
No, yep. Give him the haircut. Yeah, FanDuel. You can wade, in my opinion. Like, what's our most recent? I got to redo my updates and everything. I mean, we have Wade's knee hurt and it isn't 100%, and under normal circumstances wouldn't play.
Bledsoe not starting. Frazier, Colson, Middleton, Ilyasova, Wilson.
Okay, well, yeah.
Do you think Eric Bledsoe is entering this game now?
I'll guess no. Him playing and not starting seems very strange. Bogut starting. Jordan Bell starting. Got it. For some reason, I'm like, you know what? They hate him now. I bet they give him the redemption game. Jordan Bell starting at the 4. Called it. Cook, Thompson, Durant, Bell, Bogut.
Oh, my God.
Okay, so getting through all of this. I like Frazier more than Colson. Both Frazier and Colson are guys I would want some exposure to now. I'm not going to play Chris Middleton. I would put Eric Bledsoe at 0 minutes. It seems strange to bring him off the second unit. You're not going to play him regardless. He just is a threat to your Frazier-Colson shares.
Yeah.
I still on FanDuel would prefer to play Ersan over Wilson on DK. It's Wilson by a little bit for me. I like those guys even a little bit more. Quinn Cook getting the start. That's what you wanted to see. Jordan Bell in play as low-owned guy who can really accrue fantasy points in a decent matchup and is just not going to be owned. Dirk starting also.
That one doesn't shock me.
Yeah. I love this game.
This is so ridiculous. Okay, so I need to get Jordan Bell probably a couple extra minutes here.
Yeah, Bonzi Colson is $3,000. He is unfortunately power forward center, which really screws it up.
Harris starting again.
Okay, so both these teams are doing their, we're out there honoring our veterans, which nice. Yeah. Not thrilling, but nice.
I guess.
4 minutes to go. I'm just going to go into full watching news shit at this point.
Yeah, projections are updated for everything that I've just said.
Yeah, Frazier is unfortunately point guard only, so that's not ideal for what you'd like to see in this situation.
Udo or O'Quinn in a DK GPP?
O'Quinn.
Yeah,
I like Udo a lot, but assuming I will slightly caveat with assuming the ownerships are fairly similar. Okay.
What else we got here? I'm torn between Wade and Schroeder. I would much rather go with Schroeder.
Yeah, by a little bit for me. It ends up being pretty close for me. I'm very, very sorry to say, but yes, I will slightly prefer Schroeder there. Again, it's you need Wade to actually get the job done as well. Like like you could see 30 minutes. I'll take the under.
Yeah, for sure. He might have like a pretty active fourth quarter if he's feeling okay, but they're not going to like run him into the ground 1 through 3 if he's on a bum wheel from trying to jump on the scores table.
Yeah, which is so funny that's how he did it. Like, that's really amusing to me. It's a damn shame, but that's really funny.
Favorite shooting guard punt on FanDuel? Whole damn slate's punts.
I generally like it as a spend up spot. I will quickly caveat, but at this moment, it would be looking through many names. Probably Grayson Allen. You have Grayson Allen, you have Zaire Smith, you have Furkan Korkmaz. There's actually a lot of minimum price options here.
I mean, if the Sterling Brown, we mean punt.
Yeah, Sterling Brown.
That's Grayson Allen.
You did the Milwaukee starters. Was Brown owned them?
Yes.
He was.
Yes.
Okay. Then I can see myself getting there.
Actually, no, he's not. Frazier, Colson, Middleton. He was in the first one that was listed with Bledsoe in, not in the second one.
Right. So
still going to need to play a lot of minutes though if Bledsoe's not playing.
Yep.
White, Forbes, DeRozan, Aldridge, Pirtle.
All right. Still, Pirtle is going to rank behind all this other stud cheap value, but noted Brunson, Harris, Jackson, Nowitzki, Powell. So Justin Jackson in play. As a punt, again, getting Luke out of there is going to do some stuff. But
I have something to read to you, but I'm not going to do it until we lock because it's not a part of NBA.
Understood. I'm looking forward to
it. Cook, Niang, or McConnell, Dirk. God, this slate.
Cook, Niang, or McConnell, Dirk.
Yeah, I'd go McConnell, Dirk.
Yeah, I'll go McConnell, Dirk as well.
Generic thoughts on John Collins.
I like him.
He's the best Atlanta guy.
Yeah, it's just like I don't think I'd find him in a single lineup. I have no issue if you get there.
Yeah. You should be able to do pretty well in that matchup.
I think he'll be okay.
Yeah. Any other questions? We are coming up on the final minute. It's the final countdown. That was fun. Really happy we just did that.
Yeah, I feel good about it.
I cannot believe Udonis Haslem is playing.
Starting.
Can I just, yeah.
Not playing, baby. He played yesterday. He jacked up like 3
10
points.
minutes yesterday. Can we just get him on the coaching staff at this point? Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, that's what he's doing. I enjoy a good player ambassador. I have no issue with his role on this team.
My issue is that they had, they're clearly hoarding talent. You don't need that last roster spot on Udonis Haslem. I'm not entirely sure what the point of having him is if he doesn't play. He can still be a coach, no?
Yeah, I don't know if there's any sort of, cap issue, whatever bullshit, but yes, it seems odd to me that they wouldn't have had him hang him up and,
they obviously want him around.
He's going to work for the team. He's going to, get the same deal a couple other times. They're a lot like Dallas in that there's just, guys they, like around, which I get. I expect to see Dirk in the back office.
Yeah, he's going to get paid $100 million to make up for all those discounts he took. Tyreek, Thon, or George Hill, last guy in the GPP. DK.
Tyreek.
Yeah, same. And we are locked. Hit that like button, everybody. This is the final one. I think we deserve it today. Are you ready for my my news?
Do it.
Breaking news. Warner Media Group, a.k.a. Turner Sports, a.k.a. TNT and TBS, will present AEW Wrestling at their upfronts to advertisers next month.
Really? Wow, they're taking a shot at the title. They're going after him.
Yep. May 15th is the scheduled date, but apparently AEW might be on TNT or TBS, and they are bringing back the old school war.
I'll be curious what nights they go live.
I know. Yeah,
that's really interesting if you're a wrestling guy. I assume you saw Mania?
I certainly did, although I fell asleep and missed the finish of the women's match. Went back and saw it. Not bummed about it.
You didn't miss a lot. It was solid.
That was a long-ass show, man.
Yeah, counting, was it 5.5 hours main, 2 hours pre-show, I think? Like a few hours the whole thing. I think it's 7 and change.
Yeah, it was brutal.
All right, trying to get ownership. Yeah, it's just a long-ass show. But wasn't bad. Number of solid matches. Women's match was, I like them having the women go on last. I'm a fan. It wasn't, I mean,
I thought they would have had a better match.
Right, exactly. It's like, when you do that over AJ and Daniel Bryan and Kofi and all these other, in retrospect, really wish Kofi went on last. But I like them trying to make the statement. And again, the improvement in the women's division has been markedly brilliant. We can take our time now because there's not a late slate for 2.5 hours.
Let's not take our time. I've got to produce a show at 9:00, and my wife just came home from being gone for 3 days.
Oh, well, then
so I'm happy to run through Daddy Likes for the final time, but let's not take too much time.
Is anyone else having trouble loading a contest screen on DK? Maybe it's me with some sort of.
I have seen people complaining about it earlier today, but I don't know if that's still now or not.
I can't get one, so I'm going to click over to FanDuel and tap on some contests. And I am already logged in. Okay, so go there. Let's look at some FanDuel. 200K apparently is the largest one. Okay, Russell Westbrook in the largest contest. Care to take a guess, or should I just run him out?
I would like to guess at least Russ.
FanDuel. 200K,
55.
65.
Yeah.
And I can't say I feel dreadful about it.
Apparently, multiple people saying DK having the same issue.
Okay, yeah, I just got a tweet saying the same thing. So, Russ 65. This is the first lineup I clicked through there. Boban 4, Aaron Gordon 21, Ersan 3, which is one of the reasons that I wanted that. I figured that number below.
Yeah.
Mario Sonia 29, D Russ 25, DeRozan 15. Again, I'm going to prefer DeRozan there.
Same.
At 10% less.
What was Hazonia's number?
29.
Whew, God, that feels
now,
high.
He's a small forward, which was not brilliant.
That's true. That's a good point.
Everyone, like, if you had money left over to spend up, there was no one else. Everyone was out.
That's a good point.
So it makes a little more sense on FanDuel. But yeah, I bet that's higher than the DK number, which we'll get in a second.
Yeah, maybe.
How can you see what everyone has? Your app is not working. I can't on DraftKings. I'm on FanDuel now, where I log on to my friend's account. I'm looking at his lineup and then clicking on the other. So we did that. Quinn Cook 10 feels pretty good. Pretty big fan of Quinn Cook 10.
Yeah, I would want to have more than that, I think.
Let's see. Jeremy Lamb 16. Nick Batum 2, but $3,800. I'm fine with 2% Nick Batum. Jeremy Grant 7. Kem Birch 31. But again, power forward minimum price. But yes, in case you're wondering, you want Ersan Ilyasova at 3 as opposed to Kem Birch at 31. You will outscore Kem Birch more than every 10th game.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
I like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's sort of, you can almost do that direct math. When you're looking on FanDuel where the positions are more locked in, and guys who are sort of the same price, you can kind of do ratio of ownership to ratio of percentages of times they'll outscore them. So, you know, if Ersan is half-owned Kem Birch, you would want him to be able to outscore Kem Birch every third game for that to be about, you know, proportionate. When Ersan is 3% owned and Kem Birch is over 30, you know, you're just going to want Ersan there. Ross 2.7% owned. Yeah, that feels pretty nice. Let's see. Miles Bridges got 16 on FanDuel. Again, I'd want less.
Yeah.
Luke Cornett 22. Again, he's 6,300 against Detroit. I would have less. At those numbers, with power forward being as good as it was.
Sure.
There's just other places I think I'd rather go. TJ McConnell 17. That feels pretty good.
I like that. I know I would be over that.
Yeah, I would too, but I'd slightly prefer Cook at 10, although McConnell's saving you $500, which is not completely irrelevant.
Yeah.
Delon Wright at $8,900, 32%.
That's ludicrous.
On FanDuel.
That's ludicrous.
It's with DeRozan being 15, yes, it is. Like, I have no issue with him. The ceiling is there. I think he does better than the last game, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, that's
a bad play.
You're spending a number there at that ownership. Yeah, that's more than I'd want. More biscuits than I'd want in my basket. Dwayne Wade 18%.
Too high.
Yeah, probably. Again, he is never going to play professional basketball again.
Right.
So his knee is jacked up and he normally wouldn't play. What does that mean? I can play 30 minutes of basketball on a bad knee, presuming it's structurally stable. You know what I mean? If it just buckled a little and swelling up on him, screw it. He's going to take some Toradol and go out there and gun. Like, I can see it working out for you. I'll put it that way. But yeah. Zaire Smith 15. I'm fine with that. Again, of the value shooting guards, I think I would have had him second.
That's probably more than I would have ended up with, but I can't totally guarantee that.
John Collins 21.
Okay.
Matchup got pretty good for him. DJ Wilson 10. So again, triple the ownership of Ersan for $500 more. I have DJ Wilson projected for more, but Andre Drummond, care to take a swing?
It's 58.
52. But yeah, that's just fine. That's about where that number should come in. Kemba
33.
46.
Ooh.
TJ Leaf, here it is.
16.
10.
Yeah. I get it.
Min price power forward, that's fine. Min price power forward Hawks. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Tyreek
8.
15.
He's a small forward, right?
Yes, he is.
Yeah, I naturally never remember that.
$4,000. So, you know, all
what
those
with
things.
him not being a small forward and all.
Yes, with him not playing that position. Jakar Sampson.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
7% at $7,000. Not a member of an NBA roster.
No, he is not.
7%, and pretty clearly not so for a day now. Like, it was up in the air where everyone was like, what's going on? By the way, also yesterday, like, we had a really good show yesterday.
Yeah.
It was really frustrating at the Jamario Jones thing at the end. I put in 2 placeholder lineups, both of which had value guys who scored 25 instead of Jamario Jones, and they scored 360 and 350 on the 2 sites. Like, they were very, very close to the nut low. If he hadn't gotten there, I imagine those lineups were good for $1 million. But we were way down on the Celtics. They were shit. I was way down on Jakar Sampson yesterday. But yesterday, he was a better play than he was today. Go ahead and get that one out there, because today he's not on an NBA roster. Eric Bledsoe, 3%. So there's some dead money, is my point.
Yes, there is. Yes, there is.
That way, Bruno Caboclo, 11%.
That's fine. Starting.
Bembry, 1%. Aldridge, 15%. Feels fine. All right, I'm gonna try DK one more time because I'm losing my. No, DK is not responding to my frantic queries for information. So I'm really kind of frustrated that the best game of the year, Rob starting instead of Tyler Zeller for the Grizzlies. Not what I expected, but
no, not at all.
I presumed Zeller would get the start there again. ZC's not what happened. Good on you if you're DK for having to have an outage. Have it on the one day of evening where it doesn't cost you $100,000 in late slates. There's no late slates for 2.5 hours, so they have time this night slate. But I'm turbo refreshing and cannot get standings information.
So that means that we have to end here.
But can't you just leave me going by myself?
Gotta.
All right.
Mostly because I don't want to never get out of this chair from 6 a.m. until 10 p.m. today.
I hear you. Once in a while, it's get the whole standing desk. I have an under desk bike that I pedal on pretty frequently to stop myself. Again, you're 10 years younger than me or what have you, so you'll see.
Yeah.
But
I'm already broken physically.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you gotta at some point just it's when you don't stretch your legs, move, you'd stand up and you're like, whoa. Just sitting in my chair all day, I can't feel my face or my feet. What happened?
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us this entire season. You have been fantastic guests. You helped us break 2,000 live people on a stream, which was a very big deal for us.
Great year.
NBA playoff content will be in full swing in a couple days once we start it off on Saturday. Eddie will be around for at least bigger slates. I'm sure there's not a ton to say on game 3 of a 1-game slate as it starts to move on, but we'll have a ton of NBA stuff. Thank you guys for joining us so much. Live Before Lock is the promo code if you want to join the website. Eddie, do you got anything else?
No, I'll probably try to do something between the regular season and the postseason, which starts on Sunday, so Saturday or something. I don't know if I can coerce Josh into it. Maybe I can get someone else, but I'll do like a postseason award show, talk about how to handle postseason DFS differently from regular season. Might write that up so I can make it something for the premium members only. But there is some good money to be made in the postseason, preseason, postseason, summer league. Whenever the thing sort of shifts up, especially with like baseball going full steam, there's just a lot of money out there. Sort of like today, where there's just enough people not paying attention, and it is a really profitable time. So I will be doing something in some way, shape, or form to capitalize on that.
Awesome. Keep your eyes peeled for it, everybody. And we bid you adieu for the final time in this regular season. See y'all next year. Adios.